Thanks for being with us, Sarah. Tell us a little bit about your journey into all this stuff.
Yeah, so basically I think the reason I got involved with Christians on the Left is that when I was working with this youth charity in East London, I suddenly recognised that the privileged experience that I'd had being brought up just wasn't the same as what was happening across most of the country, and that so many young people in this country, their futures were determined by the estate that they were brought up in, and actually their lack of future was determined by that. And to me, that was just like a huge injustice. And I realised that I might be able to make a difference to the person in front of me. I might have been able to go and help them to get into employment that might transform their life opportunities. But I could only have a limited impact by working at that local level. And actually, if we wanted to change at the much higher level what was happening in this country, because decisions were being taken by those in power that were dictating the opportunities those young people would get. And I felt that as a Christian, I couldn't not engage with that conversation. I couldn't not use actually the opportunities that I'd been given to go in and make that fight for the people that just couldn't make that fight for themselves.
That's fantastic. Were there any sort of influencing factors? Were there sort of biblical narratives that influenced that, or was it just what you were seeing on the ground, or what was it?
And I think it's both. I think that ultimately, like when I read my Bible and I looked at what Jesus was doing throughout his time, like yes, he was there to save us and for our salvation, but also that he didn't ignore the injustices that were happening. When he turned the tables in the temple, he stood up against the power and the money and the influence and what was happening there that wasn't what he wanted to be happening in his house. When he listened to the homeless people sat on the road and to Jericho, like he didn't ignore them. He was there and he stopped everybody in order to hear what they had to say. And I think that he demonstrated consistently that he was a person who stood for those that faced injustice, that stood for those that didn't have a voice.